Shri Sharma, other distinguished persons of the dais and friends. Let me at the very outset congratulate Shri Sharma and his colleagues at Paytm for this new initiative that they are launching today. There are several aspects of what's happening. The first, obviously, is that it's a great tribute to entrepreneurship in India that you find that within a short span of about 5 years, a payment gateway opens, it expands its network, and then it expands the width of its activities, and then gets into online banking itself. The second aspect, of course, is the effective manner in which technology is now being deployed in the changing nature of economic transactions. Earlier we had perceived banks to be only the brick and mortar branches. In fact, my fraternity in politics is still reasonably behind times, because I still get representations during parliament session from my colleagues who insist only on brick and mortar branches being opened in their constituencies, not realizing that it's not only the brick and mortar branches where banking is to be done. Today you have telecom companies which have opened payment banks. Of course, they have the telecom office networks and their distributor networks, so it's more physical in character. And now this is a more online shape of that transaction itself. And the fact that it's entirely online enables, as was just explained, for the entire banking activity to take place without any commissions having to be paid or any service charges having to be paid. And therefore the cost of operation itself is extremely cheap. This indirectly expands the entire horizon of financial inclusion. How fast we moved on the strength of these entrepreneurship and initiatives. I just recollect a little less over 3 years ago, you had almost half the country which had no access to a banking system. And then whether it was the public sector initiatives on financial inclusion or the expansion of banking in various forms, today nobody can legitimately complain that he has no access itself to the banking system itself. And then, of course, I think it's the most important aspect of this is that this is a new chapter in history which is being written. And that new chapter in history is that almost every day some such initiative is taking place which really is resulting in a greater formalization of the Indian economy. We had almost reconciled ourselves to a fact that the economy would be substantially informal. It's only on its own strength that it will take decades and maybe centuries to formalize itself. And that no shake-up from the system was required. And that in its own pace would have taken an indefinitely long time. And we would have all waited till the cows came home for the economy really to formalize itself. But then several policy initiatives that the government took, one after the other, I think have set off a chain reaction. And that chain reaction is now visible in various ways. Just last week, I launched one of the applications of the State Bank, where just on one app you could conduct a whole width of your economic activities itself, and the number of activities itself would expand. And therefore, if you have a public sector leading bank taking one initiative, you have a private company which is leading another initiative today, all this actually means that the habit of dealing only in cash, and cash being the predominant instrument, is gradually changing. And therefore, you require an initial shake-up, and now we are all being nudged into a system where we are all realizing that convenience, security, and even propriety lies in now this switchover itself. Conventional, traditional minds will find it extremely difficult in the first instance to accept it, but then the whole mass below itself will change, and it's only the isolated cases which will find themselves as an exception. And I do believe that as time passes by, the expansion itself would take place. I was just told privately by Mr. Sharma that what his targets for the first 365 days are. I'm sure they will make every endeavor to achieve those targets. And these initiatives are now no longer drops in the ocean. These are no longer isolated instances, but these are now the general pattern which is taking place in the society itself. And I'm quite sure that this by itself will certainly be a great leap forward for many others in competition also to come up and offer equal kind of services to this, so that we have a whole mass of activities of this kind, which ultimately goes in the direction of a greater formalization of the Indian economy itself. I once again congratulate Mr. Sharma and his entire team at Paytm, and I wish him all the best in this new initiative.